Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible entrepreneurs, one digital footprint at a time. Did I put a comma there somewhere?
Sure. Put a comma or a period, wherever you want.
I'm coming crazy. I'm coming crazy. Laura Bush. And the reason that I say that is because you write books and you edit.
I do.
You're a ghostwriter.
And a writing coach.
And a writing coach.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yes. For entrepreneurs.
For
Experts.
entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Do we have an incredible deficiency as writers anymore, and the younger generation is losing the art of writing?
Oh, they just write in different ways. They're very, they have digital. There's a context for their writing that works, but there's a different context or the different way to write in books. Yeah, a little bit more formal, but I still want people to speak in their own voice, and that's what I help them do, so that they don't think that a book, which this is my most recent author's book, American Kundalini.
American Kundalini, one Westerner's unexpected journey with universal energy.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
a very, very successful architect in San Diego, and he wanted to write this book about his amazing experience. So I work with entrepreneurs, and I also work with people who want to write autobiographies or memoirs, so anything in the area of nonfiction. So this is a whole new world for him. He's a first-time author, and I coached him through writing this book. But
So how does the process work? Because I really want to understand it, and it
Yeah.
fascinates me.
yeah.
I have this idea, and most of us have ideas for a book, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
many. 80% of people, there's a survey done by a publishing house in Minnesota, and they said 80% of people want to write a book.
Okay, so we've got these ideas.
Yes.
But from the conceptualization of, I want to write a book, I have all these thoughts,
Yeah.
to actually put them together in a cogent format, something that we all can read,
Right.
it's a huge chasm, and that's where you come in.
That is where I come in.
Okay.
So I work with people to first content dump. So I tell them just say what's
Just
on your mind. Your first draft
don't worry
is
about-
private writing.
Don't
Don't
worry
worry about it.
Okay.
And then I'm working with them either privately or in group settings to make sense of that chaos and organize it so that you, the reader, can understand, be engaged, entertained, and follow what they're saying.
What is it like to get into people's mind? Because you're reading that first draft, right?
Yeah,
You're literally taking somebody's just brain thoughts, experiences.
It's actually really exciting. And I call myself a book doula, somebody who gives birth or helps to give birth.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes.
To a book that's been wanting to be born too. So there are lots of reasons that people don't get their book out. They keep putting it off because they're, I think, ultimately afraid, and afraid for two reasons. One, they're afraid that they're not good enough to write the book. And two, they're afraid to be criticized, because once you put your writing out there, your thoughts, your expertise, your credibility, whatever it is that you are going to be read by people. And so that's at the moment that someone can actually analyze, give you feedback for good or for ill. So you're putting yourself up.
In your
for that.
estimation, what is scarier? What is to write a book or to be filmed, much like right now?
I am less afraid of being filmed right now than to
Well,
write
you're
a book.
man. Laura, you're a pro.
But
You're
I
a
still
doctor.
have fears. Now that's what people think. Like, I am highly published. I've been published in some of the most difficult
Yes.
places to be published. I have my own academic book. I have a PhD in English. So I've been through years and years of criticism from other people. But it's really, the blank page is really a frightening place to be.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, you're like, what is it that I want to say? And then once you get it down, you realize it's the first drafts. Ernest Hemingway say they're shit. And that's Ernest Hemingway.
Yep.
So you have to look at that and be confronted by that. But I think it's just a fear of, like, I've started this too, and I stopped because I got afraid. And now how am I ever going to get started again? And that's what I help people do too.
Did you ever get writer's block?
I didn't work at writer's block, but I do talk about writer's block. What's writer's block? Oh, you mean work at it?
Work at it.
Yeah. Well, yes, writer's block. Writer's block is really part of the writing process. those of us who study composition theory really don't talk about writer's block per se. It's just, you wander off, you go in other directions, that's okay. Writer's block is being stopped.
Stopped, right there.
It's called procrastinating, or I just don't know where to go with this. That's the scary part too.
You are an educator?
Yeah, by trade.
By trade.
I guess my field.
How?
I grew up as an academic.
Exactly. But in 2012, you take a turn. You say, well, I'm going to do this for myself.
Yeah. I'm not going to be constrained by the university. So I had a great position at ASU, and I just felt constrained, and I wanted my own. And my mother was actually an entrepreneur. She owned a beauty shop, and she had it next to her house so that she could be a mom of 4 children, and I'm an identical twin. So she did that for 52 years, really successful. And I kind of said, I'm not going to be that, because I knew what it was going to take. But I took on being an entrepreneur.
Did you know what entrepreneurship would entail?
No, I was completely naive.
You just jumped right in.
I did. It was crazy. If I had to do it again, I'd do it a different way. I'd do it more slowly. I'd cook the frog a lot more slowly. That was a really hot pot to jump into.
And does it continue to be difficult? Are there challenges that, we always say, had I known then what I know now, the different stuff. So what is, if you had to give somebody advice, other than just starting slow, what more specifically can you give?
And I don't know if I would say it is start slow, it's start well. And also to have, one of the things that I've done for myself recently is to really get some great business coaches. So people who can help me think about marketing, help me think about scaling my business, which is what the challenge is right now. I have been just one person with an assistant, and now I'm growing, and I'm starting to go, oh my goodness, how can I do this? Now I'm working all the time.
How do I manage it?
Exactly. How do I manage it? So I get professionals.
But entrepreneurship is much like the writing process, right? I mean, it's chaotic. I mean, I don't care how much you want to plan writing the book and the format
or the business plan.
Or the business plan and so on and so forth.
It
just happens. It just happens, and then you get when you start writing, right? You get so inspired and that fluidity.
Yeah,
and
you
it
discover
just goes
something.
Page by page after page after page. Same thing with entrepreneurship. You're just on, and things are happening, and now you just don't know how to manage it because it's become so successful.
Yeah, it can be like that, like a flood. And it gets much more exciting, I think, when the flood starts. I tell people when you start a book, it's the uphill part. It's like on a roller coaster and you're going, and it's the scariest. But then when you get to a certain point in the writing process or in entrepreneurship, you can really see the fruits of all that labor, or you know you're going down, and it's exciting. There are other things that happen. There's other fear with that, but it's exciting because you're seeing stuff happen. And like with this book, the authors, when they get the actual book in their hand, it is so...
It's cathartic.
It is. And now it's marketing the book, too.
Which is probably the most difficult aspect of the writing process, I think I would dare to say. We purposely left the story of the boot because, being that you're a writer, I figure we had some suspense.
Exactly. I've been holding on to this boot because...
And people are wondering, what is with a boot?
Well, I grew up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, in the Grand Teton Mountains, and I held my first book writing retreat in my great-uncle's barn, which is next to a really, really historic barn, T.A. Moulton's in the Grand Teton National Park. So my retreats have come to be known as Write Your Book in a Barn.
Sweet.
And so I do that in Jackson, and then I found another historic barn. I was looking around in Oracle, Arizona, and it's just an absolute delight, the COD Ranch, and I'm doing that in March. So I take people out of their life because it actually is really difficult to get to a book too when you've got kids or you've got a career and you want to write the book. So I tell them, take yourself out for a weekend, work with me, we'll get the table of contents, you'll get a writing group, a RIDIGN, ING, did I spell that? Writing. It's
I don't know, you're the
writing.
PhD.
It's a play on writing, a writing group, and writing partners, because you want other people to give you feedback while you're writing the book too. It's a myth that writing is a solitary act.
All right,
it's a total myth.
And so that's
go ride with writers, and that's the book. Go write in a barn. It's less intimidating, for goodness sakes.
Is there a specific? Okay, that's cool. I understand. Is there a specific place where you get your inspiration? Do you go somewhere other than? than the barn?
I
for
do
inspiration?
I go to other places. Sometimes I actually write best in an airport. I tell people and I talk with them about where do you usually like to write.
Yeah.
So write there, write in your office or write in your couch, but sometimes take yourself out of that writing, especially if you're stuck. Go to a coffee shop and then you have people around you so you're not all alone, but you've got to focus. And so I like to do those kinds of things.
And I think that's also great when you're stuck with kind of entrepreneurial ideas. Just get out for a little bit.
Yeah, and
Just walk
also
around.
be with people. That's why I say retreats are such a great place to be, because the juices are getting going with other people, and you're not having to deal with what I'm going to cook for dinner, or it's right there for you. So you can totally be focused on the project.
For Whom the Bell Tolls, one of my favorite books.
Really?
Your favorite book?
Beloved by Toni Morrison. She's an amazing 20th century African American, absolutely wise, postmodern, amazing.
A beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. We wish you the best. And
thanks for having me. This is very fun.
we solved the suspense of the
Exactly.
boot. So now we know why the boot.
So come and write your book in a barn
And with
with
that,
me.
I'm going to give you the boot.
Okay.
With that, we're out.